Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Grandstream. Today's host is Phil Bowers. He is their Director of Marketing, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box, and Phil will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Thank you, Phil, so much for being with us today. I am finished for now. You can go ahead and take it on over.
All right. Thank you, Julie. And as always excited to join up with Microcom to hold a webinar. Always something that I look forward to. Before we do get started, want to hopefully, as we were practicing here, I was potentially having a little bit of audio delay, it seems like on my end. So hopefully that doesn't impact anything as we move forward here. But to get into today's topic, this is probably the most relevant and the most popular webinar that that I have ever done with Grandstream. We've held this topic, the remote work and collaboration solutions. We've held this webinar, I want to say like 8 to 10 times over the last couple of months, and it is easily one of the most popular webinars we've ever done. Obviously with COVID-19 and all of this societal changes and the way of, our way of life and our way of working is changing quite a bit with it. Everybody's looking to try to understand how they, from a business communications technology standpoint, how do we need to, take that into account? How do we need to change what we're deploying for our customers? How do we need to change everything about what we're offering? And so this presentation is really created to pretty much just give you an idea of how you can use our wide range of solutions to build remote work and collaboration solutions. The first thing that I've been saying on this topic to people throughout the last couple of months is, in a lot of cases, we're not necessarily thinking about new technology here. We're thinking about just using the same technology in a different way. So as you see, as I'll go through here, I'm going to highlight a wide range of different Grandstream stuff, all of which has specific value to building remote work and collaboration solutions. So that's really the focus here on today. Everything I'm going to be talking about, and we'll cover pretty much a wide range of our solutions. Let me just move on to the next slide here. We're going to cover pretty much a wide range of our solutions and show you how they allow businesses to build remote work and collaboration solutions, broken down into meetings and conferences, VoIP solutions, and Wi-Fi networking and VPNs. Give you some vertical industry examples, mostly as we go through, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So bear with me here for a second. So before we get into the Grandstream specific solutions, and before I start telling you about, the many features, functionalities that our products offer and the solutions you can build specifically for remote use or for remote collaboration by doing so. But let's start off with just, some basic remote work considerations. And these are just, some insight and some feedback from us. The first one, and this is actually something that I added in for today's webinar from the last time I did this, remote work is likely to become the new norm. I personally think that it's becoming pretty clear that that is the case. I think there's a really good chance that you're going to see remote work and the dispersed workforce become a regular thing for companies. You can go out and read about the speculation that different real estate markets in major cities like Manhattan are going to potentially be impacted because businesses aren't going to need the big corporate office space anymore. And especially for small to medium-sized businesses, they could actually save a lot of money by not having everybody work in the office. So it's, I actually think in the long term that this whole remote work idea is great for the world. I think it could potentially be great for work-life balance, but more than anything else, it is going to cut back on a lot of waste. Depending on the industry, I think some some businesses actually might operate better remotely. But anyway, that's just a bunch of my own feelings there. I think it's pretty clear that remote work and the dispersed workforce is going to become the new normal for a lot of companies for at least the next couple of years and potentially forever. Number two is what I just mentioned a moment ago. A lot of the communications technology that we use on a daily basis already does support remote use, and that's the main takeaway for you with our solutions. It's not necessarily new technology that we're talking about, it's just being used and deployed and managed in a different way. One of the things that we've done over the last couple of years is built out a lot of different Wi-Fi compatible endpoints. And frankly, those cordless, wireless, whether it be, I'm going to focus on Wi-Fi, but I'll also throw DECT in there. Those are really the most ideal types of devices to deploy for remote users or for home workers because of the ease of setup, the simplicity, the fact that they're wireless. A lot of homes don't have wired networks available. Number four there, and this is something that's kind of, I'm sure you guys are seeing this, and this is kind of teasing some new products you're going to see from us over the next couple of months. There is a major need for consumer-focused devices, webcams, and headsets. Specifically, you see a lot of businesses that are using web-based meetings, things like Teams. I'm going to tell you about our IPVideo talk platform. Those web-based or those online-based communications platforms, or just, a lot of people like to use a headset specifically with even their desktop phone. And we'll talk about some desktop phones that are great for use at home too. And then the last thing here is don't forget about that you need to monitor and manage these remote devices. And that takes a little bit of a different path to do so, or best practice to do so than an on-premise solution. All right, so I'm going to move past this slide. So now I'm going to get into the Grandstream solutions that allow you to build remote work and collaboration solutions. And it's essentially, to keep it easy, broken it down into three different categories. We have meetings and conferences, we have VoIP, and we have networking. And I'm going to go through each one of these, touch on the different solutions, why they're great, kind of what we're seeing them being deployed by in this current marketplace, and anything else that I think of as we go. So we're going to start out here with meetings and conferencing solutions. And for us, that pretty much comes down to three different things. And these three different offerings that we have really allow us to cover every end of the meetings and the conferencing space. We have IPVideo Talk Meetings. That is our online meeting and video conferencing platform. It's cloud-based. We have our GVC series, which are hardware SIP video conferencing endpoints. And we have our IPVT10, which, to be honest, we've done a pretty bad job over the years of promoting that. And I'll be completely honest, not even 100% sure if it's available or if it's up in your web shop. I'm sure it's something that we can obviously get for you if your customers need it. But IPVT10 is essentially it is an on-premise collaboration server. So let me explain these guys to you. So we're going to start off with IPVideo Talk. IPVideo Talk, hopefully you guys are familiar with it. If not, this is Grandstream's own web meetings platform. We've had this out for 4 years now. Up until the last 6 months, this has been predominantly being positioned as a cloud video conferencing platform for our hardware devices, for those GVC. But over the last 6 months, we have essentially not redone the platform, but kind of changed the way that we're marketing it, and the plans that are within it. It is now a web meetings platform. This is a great alternative to Zoom. You're going to get all the features and the functionality that you're going to get used to from Zoom. I'm being completely honest here. I believe that our platform is much easier to use, has a much easier user interface. We are going to be able to, on pretty much all different levels, support more participants, more video feeds, stuff like that. and you don't have to deal with Zoom bombing and all the different Zoom security issues that they've been having and are trying to solve by just buying security companies to patch them up. So it's a great web meetings platform. We offer a free basic plan that you can sign up for, which gives you, in that free plan, 50 meetings with 50 people and up to 49 video feeds. This platform you can attend meetings, IPVideo Talk meetings on any device, PCs and Macs, Android and iOS devices with our free IPVideo Talk app. It gives you, again, pretty much every high-end feature that you're used to from any other web meetings platform: screen sharing, private group chat, recording, webinars feature built into it, PSTN, VoIP, dial-in, all of that kind of stuff. So it's great for remote team meetings, for a business, for virtual classrooms, for telehealth consultations, which is huge nowadays, online fitness classes, lots of different things that you could use this with. I think predominantly for us and for our customers, it is a online web meetings platform for businesses, and that can be integrated or expanded to include our hardware series devices. So check out IPVideoTalk.com. You can sign up for a free account. It's a great way from the channel side. IPVideo Talk is a great way to sell the hardware, which I'm about to show you, as a solution with this built-in platform that we offer, that it is can be used with right out of the box. So that's IPVideo Talk. Check it out at IPVideoTalk.com. We've actually, within Grandstream, we've used IPVideo Talk internally for 4 years for all of our meetings and webinars. So I've held thousands of webinars on it and held easily thousands of meetings. So definitely check it out. Great platform. So to kind of tie that in with the hardware devices, and as I mentioned, if I know through the channels, a lot of the focus is on the hardware, because that's where we make our money, right? So the IPVideo Talk that I mentioned on the previous screen is a great way to sell the hardware as a solution with our own cloud web meetings and video conferencing service. The other great thing about these GVC devices is they are open source SIP. They're SIP devices, so they will work with any third-party SIP conferencing platform. They're also H.323, so they'll work with any H.323 platform. So these devices, again, they're endpoints, really allow you to build, to buy an endpoint that is very flexible in terms of the platforms it can be used on, whereas most manufacturers are going to charge you 5 to 10 times more than what our hardware costs, and they're going to make you use their own platform. We offer this, the device you see in the picture is the GVC 3210. That is a 4K Wi-Fi based device for sub $1,000 retail price. And obviously, through channels and whatnot, pricing gets even better. So again, we've got this whole range of hardware devices, our GVC series, which pretty much covers everything from high end to low end. There's 3 different models within the series. They all support third-party SIP or H.323 platforms. They also all support our IPVideo Talk platform that I mentioned earlier. And so these devices are, again, just great for building a formal video conference in this day and age for essential on-location staff. Or for businesses that with multiple locations, or even in the 3210, it's a great option for somebody that might be working from home, holding a lot of webinars, doing a lot of video meetings. It is a dedicated video endpoint, 4K Wi-Fi, all that, screen sharing through it, whatnot. And that picture that you see on the left there, that is actually Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister of Spain, who, as you can see in the picture, is not only using a GVC series video hardware device, but has our GAC 2500 on the table in front of him, and is using the IPVideo Talk platform that I just mentioned. We published a case study about this, which I can provide. But yeah, really, really cool example of what this can do. The Spanish government has been using our video conferencing solutions over the last 6 months, I believe. Over the last 6 months to hold cabinet meetings and whatnot for their prime minister. Last but not least here on the video side is IPVT10. And the easy way for me to describe this is it is IPVideo Talk as an on-premise server. So essentially, if you're looking for a full enterprise grade video conferencing and web meetings and collaboration network or solution, this is what you're looking for. It's on premise, it's not in the cloud. You can put it on your network, put it behind firewalls or SBCs or whatever you have on your premise. And frankly, this is really ideal for larger organizations, enterprise, school districts, hospitals with multiple locations, government with different buildings and different geographical locations. So just wanted to mention that as an option that is essentially gives you an on-premise collaboration server and platform versus a cloud platform, which there are still a lot of businesses that are somewhat weary of the cloud. All right, so that wraps up the meetings and conferencing section. And now I'm gonna touch on our VoIP solutions. And these are probably the stuff that you guys, I'm just guessing, that probably know the best. It's certainly what Grandstream is kind of the most known for over the years. Certainly the bread and butter of our offering and the way that we have really built up our name over the last 20 years is through the VoIP space. And you see that all the products I have on here are existing products. There's nothing necessarily new. So it really goes to what I talked about earlier. That, by the way, that doesn't mean we're not continuing to come out with new stuff. I gave you an idea earlier that and this is more on the meetings and conferencing side, but that we're in the process of developing some webcams and headsets, just for example. So we're continuing to really jump into and to further develop this space, the whole remote working collaboration space. But here I do want to tell you about the many different ways you can use our familiar VoIP endpoints and VoIP solutions to build remote networks. So here we've got the UCM series. This is our on-premise IPPBX. Hopefully everybody knows about it. It's been out on the market. The UCM series in general since 2013. It has become one of the most popular on-premise IPPBXs in the world. And this is to talk about this product from a remote usage standpoint. It's almost just a reminder that the IPPBX does allow you to create virtual communications networks. That obviously kind of what SIP and VoIP technology is. It's using the internet, which you can access anywhere. So you can build UCM solutions and access those SIP accounts from outside the the local network. And we could do a whole webinar on the different ways that you could create a secure connection between those VPNs, firewalls, SBCs, whatnot. But just to on a real basic level, just again to point out that an IPPBX, like our UCM series, does allow you to create those virtual communication networks that support remote devices, that support remote device provisioning and deployment through a web user interface, that support video calling and conferencing remotely. You can build VPN tunnels, as I just mentioned, from the office to the UCM network and back. You can put it behind a firewall, all different security protocols that you could really further on build that secure connection. Actually, to give you another heads up of something that you'll see from us probably in August, where we're actually working on coming out with a cloud NAT traversal service, which would kind of allow you to further secure these remote devices. Multiple concurrent SIP registrations is a big feature with this. Just allows you to, great for remote. You have a SIP account that can be registered on an app, on someone's mobile phone, on their desk phone in their office, on their desk phone in their house, maybe a Wi-Fi or a deck phone they have around the house or the office too. And I'm going to talk about the scan a barcode feature with Grandstream Wave later. So this is really just on a simple basic level to point out that our UCM series does allow you to build these virtual communications networks that do support remote devices and remote users. So the GXV series, we could hold a whole webinar on this specific product or this specific series and the benefits that it offers to this whole remote collaboration platform. So in my opinion, and I've been saying this for years, these GXV series phones are some of the coolest, the most innovative, and the most unique IP phones on the market. We have this, I believe, is the third generation. It might be the fourth generation. Actually, no. It's either the fourth or fifth generation of our GXV series of video phones. They were actually some of the first IP video phones on the market, launched back in, I want to say 2010 maybe. And obviously, we have this new series, which is based on Android, the GXV series. We've had, I believe this is the third generation of these models that run Android. So because they run Android, they give you full access to the Android ecosystem, the Google Play Store, all the different Google services, Gmail, all that kind of stuff. The way that I should describe this is it essentially combines a 16-line IP phone with a video conferencing or video calling platform and an Android tablet. So you really get the best of all of that. The GXV 3380 is what you see on the screen. The other two current models are 3370, which is a similar look to the 3380, just has a 7-inch touchscreen versus an 8-inch touchscreen. And then we have our 3350, which gives you a 5-inch touchscreen and a full set of hard keys. So these are Android IPVideo phones. You're going to get all the functionality of an Android tablet. It is a very flexible video calling solution as well. Can utilize any Android app for that. Can also do SIP video calls, call into video conferencing devices, all that. Has a built-in 3-way video bridge so that even if your PBX might not have or platform or whatever you're using might not support have a video conferencing bridge, these devices have them built into the actual devices. Talks about the Android tablet functionality, join meetings, attend webinars, chat with friends, stay connected with Google services, browse the web, all of that. And one of the great things about this device, especially for a more remote setup or even for a huddle room in an office, they all have HDMI input and output. And the 3380, which you see here, has built-in, supports 1080p output and input, excuse me. So you could actually connect this to, for example, a television monitor in somebody's home office. It's got a camera on the device. And there you go. You've got a full screen video calling, video conferencing setup using the camera on this device. You could share content through that by connecting to the video input on the GXV phones. All of them have Bluetooth, which would allow you to sync Bluetooth speakers or headsets. And the one thing that's not on here that should be on here is that these devices have built-in Wi-Fi. Pretty much most of what I'm going to talk about today has built-in Wi-Fi. It's not an extra dongle or anything. It's built right in. So that allows these devices to very easily be added to and deployed very quickly without needing, wired connections. Makes it great for home use. We've seen this specific device, the 3380, but the whole series has been probably our best seller over the last couple of months as a result of COVID. We've seen a lot of these going into the healthcare industry, to build telehealth solutions. Got a couple of different case studies on that. We have seen hospitals who have put these phones in all patient rooms to allow doctors and nurses to communicate with patients in their room through video without necessarily having to go to the room. Just one of the many examples. We've also seen them flying off the shelf for businesses that, especially small to medium-sized businesses that, just kind of want to have a face-to-face communication video element with their remote workers. And this is a, great way to do so, while also giving them all that other functionality and a, IP phone that they're most likely going to need for working remotely. Moving along here, we've got our WP series. These are our cordless Wi-Fi IP phones. And as I mentioned in the intro before, and the reason why I'm mentioning many of these devices as great for remote usage is because they support Wi-Fi. Makes it really easy to plug and play, to basically have these devices And I'll talk about this later, deployed in a way that as soon as the device is connected to a Wi-Fi network, it's ready to go. And that's what, is all the other great thing about these Wi-Fi devices is that they're obviously more portable. You can, for businesses that might be working from home and in the office and kind of going back and forth, these could be something you would be able to take back and forth, for example. But even more than that, it's the Wi-Fi aspect of it, the fact that they can be deployed and installed wirelessly, just connect to a Wi-Fi network. So these are the WP series, these cordless phones are the highest quality wireless phones out there for remote workers. Another topic that we could probably have a whole nother webinar on is, we always, every now and then when we bring up this topic, you'll have somebody will say, I tried to use Wi-Fi phones 4 or 5 years ago, bad quality, poor roaming, et cetera, et cetera. All I can say is, and we could have a webinar to break down how much has changed on the technology side. None of those issues exist anymore. And, Wi-Fi technology, Wi-Fi speeds are as good as wired speeds. You have, access points that have the ability now to prioritize certain connections, in this case, voice and video calls. You have a lot of different protocols that are in place to ensure seamless, easy roaming from device or from access point to access point. So yeah, if you haven't been, thinking about, or if you haven't been using Wi-Fi for VoIP, definitely check it out. It's just, I think it is going to become essentially the next generation of the way VoIP is deployed on premise, at least. So yeah, the great thing obviously about these devices, especially for remote workers, is that pretty much every home is going to have Wi-Fi access, but most homes are not going to have wired network access. I forget what year it was. I think it was the early to mid 2000s. We actually stopped building homes largely in the United States without wired networks. So these devices will work. They'll allow workers to roam around their home, to go in the backyard, to put it anywhere within a where a Wi-Fi connection is available. One of the things that I should have mentioned on the video phones on the last slide, which I'll mention now, and I'll just say, I'll try to remember to point out on every slide, all of our Wi-Fi endpoints have open VPN clients built into it. So if the business is using a specific VPN, these devices have that open VPN client to make it easy to integrate and automatically connect with that, private dedicated VPN. The WP series are, just lightweight, lightweight and compact, easy to transport. A great feature that they offer both for, obviously for warehouses or in the office, but also for remote teams is push to talk. So this could, for example, allow sales teams where everyone's working from home to quickly and easily communicate with each other to, get the status on a lead that may have come in, or to determine who's going to respond to a lead that may have come in by just pressing a button. That instant walkie-talkie like communication could be great in a variety of ways for remote teams. And the one thing that I will mention in this, or the one product I'll call out, is the WPA10. We announced the WPA10 in early April. So I think that was since the last time we had a webinar. The WPA10 is an awesome product. It is essentially, what we've done with the WPA10 is we have built a Wi-Fi phone that essentially offers you the same price point that DECT offers. And traditionally, that, especially as Wi-Fi has kind of grown, what we've seen is a lot of people stick with DECT because it's cheaper traditionally. But as you know, and as we could go through, there are a lot of limitations to DECT. I mean, I think it's like 5 limited amount of voice channels, limited range, hard to create networks for handover or for roaming. Whereas with Wi-Fi, that's just all kind of, basic and common technology. So the WPA10 is a really scalable solution because of that. It really begins to eliminate the price advantage that you're going to get from DECT versus Wi-Fi, and it's a much more it's a higher quality, more secure, more long range solution than DECT. So definitely check out the WP810 specifically, but the whole WP series, great cordless Wi-Fi devices for remote use. And I just spent the last slide kind of talking down DECT, but there is always, at least from what we're seeing, a lot of people, it is tried and true and familiar technology. And because they know how to use it and rely on it, it's we don't see it going anywhere. So also want to mention that, if you do want to focus on DECT, we offer a full range of solutions for it. We have our DP series, which has, I believe it's 2 different base stations and 3 different handsets, offers up to a 50-meter range indoors. That's pretty much going to cover almost any home or specifically any apartment. Just like the Wi-Fi phones, easy, lightweight, compact, easy to transport. These devices also give you that push-to-talk feature that I mentioned on the last slide with the Wi-Fi phones. But I guess maybe the one advantage our DECT phones offer versus our Wi-Fi phones is the support for more lines. Each handset can support up to 10 lines. So if that is, you need a cordless or a wireless phone that gives you a lot of different lines, then this is probably, this DECT phone, our DECT solutions are definitely the way to go. And just to point it out, these DECT solutions do require both handset and a DECT base station. And we have, as I mentioned, 3 different handsets and 2 different base stations. All right, beginning to wrap up. I think we should be able to should be able to wrap up here within the next 10 to 15 minutes, just to give you an idea of where we're at. So now I'm going to talk about the GRP series, which we've done webinars about in the past. So hopefully everyone's familiar with them. So just in case you're not, to give you a little bit of a refresher, the GRP series is essentially our, I was going to say brand new. It's been out for about a year, but it is our new high-end, I would call it, series of IP phones. We call them carrier grade. They're made with a variety of features to allow them to be very easily customized and mass provisioned and mass deployed for service providers, for our partners, and for large enterprises. But in terms of the work from home or the remote work, the great thing about these GRP series, and frankly, any of our desktop IP phones that in talking about them for remote use, is they recreate the familiar look and feel of the office at home. A lot of people have spent their whole careers using these types of devices and being used to communicating with them. They're used to the presence, they're used to the multiple lines, all that kind of stuff. And that's what you get with the GRP series. And what we've done is added a variety of next generation features that make them, even more, I would say, one of the more advanced desktop IP phones out there. But a lot of those next gen features are especially great for remote workers or for remote use. And the first one is that it has Wi-Fi. Most of the GRP series has Wi-Fi built into it. So this is a desktop phone that recreates that familiar look and feel, but it runs on Wi-Fi. So it's easy to install, can be moved around, all that kind of stuff. These devices are easy to manage with our GDMS platform, which is our cloud management platform. They have unified firmware across the entire GRP series, which has 6 or 7 models within it off the top of my head. Variety of next-gen presence features, which is great for remote workers. All of the screens on these phones have multiple pages of VPKs, virtual private keys, which can be used as speed dial and BLF. There are also 2 models within the series, including the 2614, which you see in the picture, which has 2 LCD screens on it. So that device, you have basically, between the main screen and the second screen, you have 7 pages of BLF and speed dial contacts that you can program in there, or other soft keys on the main screen. They are Bluetooth compatible, so you can use Bluetooth headsets and speakers with them. They give you dedicated endpoint protection, hacking protection, which is ideal for remote users, just like all our other Wi-Fi endpoints, an OpenVPN client built right in. This I'm going to mention real fast. It's, I think everybody pretty much understands what an analog telephone adapter is. And, our HT series of analog telephone adapters is the first product that we ever made back in 2002. And our own, we believe we are the largest manufacturer of analog telephone adapters in the world. We have deals with major service providers all over the world to provide these for them. And here in the remote work environment, just a simple device that allows somebody may have for whatever reason, if you want to allow a remote worker to utilize an analog or digital phone that they already have at home, maybe that's what they want to use, or you don't want to deploy specific devices for them, give them an ATA, have them connected to that, connect the other end to the internet, and you can access SIP accounts and use analog and digital devices and fax machines to access VoIP, to access SIP accounts and VoIP platforms with those analog and digital devices. Grandstream Wave, this is our free mobile soft phone app. It's available for iOS and for Android, so it works pretty much between those, works on any smartphone and any tablet. This allows users to access up to 6 SIP accounts on an Android or iOS mobile device, which is a really simple and again free option to enable a business to very quickly provide their employees with remote access to their communications platform. If you're using a Grandstream UCM series device, there's a really easy barcode scanning process to set this up, where the UCM just emails the user a barcode. They open Grandstream Wave, download the barcode, and their SIP account is good to go. We have preloaded config settings for hundreds of service providers, and as I mentioned, support 6 different SIP accounts in this app. So it's great for remote teams, remote workers, teachers, delivery teams, medical, government, really anyone that might want to access a business or any SIP account on an Android or iOS mobile device. GDMS. This is the end of the VoIP section, this slide here. So as I mentioned earlier, you also, in addition to creating a plan and figuring out the best devices to deploy for your remote teams, you also need to manage those devices. And we offer Grandstream Device Management System, that is GDMS for short. This is our cloud-based provisioning, management, monitoring, and maintenance platform for all of our endpoints. And it's a fully free platform. You can go to gdms.cloud to set up an account, start using it right away. The main reason I'm mentioning this is the third bullet point regarding the remote deployment scenario. And this is what we've seen a lot of different businesses and service providers as well doing with their customers or their end users. Or businesses using to create or deploy devices for their remote workers. So basically 2 steps for a remote deployment scenario. The first one is that the IT administrator configures the device on the GDMS portal. They don't need to touch it. They don't need to see it. They just, I believe it's the MAC address is the main thing needed. And then the device would be shipped out to the user, the box never having needed to been opened or even be on site. The user opens the device, connects it to their wired or wireless network, and it will automatically pick up the config from GDMS and is good to go. So 2-step remote deployment scenario, super quick and easy with GDMS. All right, beginning to wrap up here, I promise. So last 2 things here that we're going to cover in the remote solutions webinar here today is our networking solutions that enable you to deploy to deploy VPNs for remote workers, or to offer remote workers a variety of different networking tools. Do I have one slide for it? Yeah, just one slide. Sorry. So what we're talking about here is the combination of our Wi-Fi access points, the GWN series, with our GWN cloud management platform. So our APs, you know, we designed them like we designed most of our IP phones to offer an industry-leading set of features at a price point that you're not really going to find elsewhere. And that's what these APs do. They're really powerful but very cost-effective APs. So they're great for deploying home Wi-Fi networks for remote users or for remote workers who may not have a Wi-Fi network, or if you want to provide them with a dedicated access point to access a VPN at home, this would be another great option for that. All of our Wi-Fi access points, especially if you're deploying or if you're helping remote workers set up Wi-Fi IP phones, our APs have QoS optimization built into it, which would allow you to go into the user interface and with the QoS feature, tell the access point to prioritize voice or video calls for it, so that if you're using an AP to run your voice or video network, you're not going to be competing with, you know, a bunch of people playing Angry Birds or something like that. So that's a great option. Variety, our WP series, to kind of take it back to the Wi-Fi endpoints, actually has a feature that you can enable that will automatically adjust the QoS on whatever access point it connects to prioritize connections and calls to that device through the access point. One specific thing that I'll point out here, one specific product, which is something we announced earlier in the year, our GWN 7602. This is, when we came out for this, I thought that this was going to end up being a, you know, really great device for home offices and for remote workers. Little did we know that, you know, the world was going to become what it is now, which frankly makes it an even more powerful device. So the 7602 is a Wi-Fi access point that also has a 4-port Ethernet switch into it. It is this, really, I don't remember the cost off the top of my head, but it is a low-cost access point. It supports up to 100 clients and gives you 80-meter range. So that's pretty much going to cover any home or any apartment. But it also gives you that 4-port switch, so it would allow you to connect a wired IP phone, TV, computer, whatnot to it. Anything else that you want to give out a wire connection to. So 7602 is great AP, especially for home offices, and we offer GWN Cloud, which is our free cloud Wi-Fi management platform to monitor or to deploy, monitor, and manage your access points, whether they are all on the same network or in the same location or dispersed through remote workers or multiple different offices. GWN Cloud is fully free, just like GDMS. So GWN.cloud is the URL to sign up for it. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps up what I had here for the webinar today. Just to wrap up, like I mentioned throughout, it's a lot of pretty much all of the solutions that we offer, all the Grandstream products do have the ability to support and be used in a remote setting. As I tried to touch on throughout, it's just kind of using them or deploying them a little bit differently and thinking a little bit differently about the devices you deploy to be more advantageous to remote or offsite users. So whether you need meetings and conferences, voice and video, or networking solutions for remote or for on-prem, obviously, we have everything that you're gonna need. And to give you a heads up, there's gonna be a lot more stuff, new stuff coming from us over the next couple of months, so keep an eye out for it. We're really going to be expanding even further the services and the products that we offer for remote setups for unified communications and collaboration. I mentioned headsets and webcams earlier, a couple other different things, a couple other services you're going to see from us over the next couple of months. So we're really excited to move in the direction that we are. We really believe that the market at large, not just here in the United States, but around the world, is really, especially from the business communication side, switching to be a lot more dispersed, a lot more remote. With that, I will wrap up my section and I will turn it over to Julie. I apologize for going a little bit longer than I usually do. Hopefully the audio was good throughout, and I will turn it over to Julie for any questions.
Thank you, Phil, so much. It was a wonderful presentation. Audio was fine. I appreciate that. And with your mention of new products and services coming out soon, how perfect is that? We will follow up in the near future with another webinar.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I do have some questions for you. Let's get started with the first one regarding, of course, the IPVideo talk. Can you tell us about the resolution on the screen for that?
Yeah, IPVideo talk will support full 1080p HD video resolution, both incoming and outgoing, as long as the device that you're using does support that. Full 1080p video support.
Excellent, thank you. Next question here, also regarding IPVideo talk. Would conferences or just information meetings that you would have on the IPVideo talk, are you able to record them locally?
So can we record them? I believe so. I know we have a cloud recording option that would just save it into your online platform, and you could log into your interface and get it from there. I do believe we also do offer a local recording option as well.
Excellent, thank you for that. And then, okay, further questions about the IPVideo talk. Is the software exclusive to Grandstream devices, or can one use other IP cameras, other phones, etc.?
So it's a good question. So on the it is a, I'm trying to think about how to answer the question. Sorry, I'm just pondering from my side. It's certainly it's certainly at the moment we are mainly focusing it on using Grandstream devices. But when I say that, I mean specifically on the like the video conferencing room devices. It is a SIP-based platform, so at least on the IP phone side, should be able to call into it from pretty much any IP phone, just for the voice side of it. But for the video side of it, at least at the moment, is definitely something that we're focusing on our own endpoints for. But actually kind of keep an eye out for this, because I do believe within the next couple of months, we do hope to release a video or a option that would support other manufacturers' video conferencing devices.
Excellent, thank you, Phil. More questions on IPVideo talk. Do both parties, the receiver and the caller, need to both have IPVideo talk for it to work the way you described?
So not really. So it is a web meetings platform, and it will work through, not to get overly technical about it, but it's a WebRTC based platform, the actual IPVideo talk meeting platform. So it can be, we have a free mobile app for Android and iOS that you can attend it from. And it's also, so because it's WebRTC, you can attend it streaming within a browser. So like one major difference between it and a lot of other platforms like GoToMeeting, for example, is that it doesn't require any desktop software. It is just a connection that's streaming within a browser. The majority of the major browsers anymore support WebRTC. So yeah, that is, so I mean, to answer the original question, if you're talking about room-based devices, if somebody is on a Grandstream room-based camera with IPVideo talk, they could hold a meeting with somebody who could attend it from their computer, from their mobile phone, from their tablet, or calling in from an IP phone or another Grandstream video conferencing device. But so hopefully that answered the question. There's the honest answer, there's a lot of different ways that it can be used. But it is, again, a web meetings platform. So one of the great things about it is it is flexible in how you can join meetings from Grandstream video room devices, from the web, from a mobile app. Those are the main ways.
Excellent. Thank you, Phil. Last question here for you regarding the GRP series. This does work wireless, is that correct?
Yes. So off the top of my head, there are 6 models within the series, and I believe that 4 of them support Wi-Fi. So it would be the 2612W, the 2614, the 2615, and the 2616. All those 4 models are going to have Wi-Fi support. The other ones, which are the GRP 2612 without the W, that does not support Wi-Fi. And I believe the 2613 also does not support Wi-Fi. But those other 4 that I mentioned do. And that's built in. There's no dongle you need, just built right in.
Excellent. Thank you, Phil, so much for answering all of those questions for us today. And also thank you for everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown here today, please visit us at www.microcom.us. And please remember, this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so you can view it again. Phil, once again, thank you for your time, all this incredibly valuable information. We appreciate it. And until next time, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Stay safe, everybody.